welcome to Sam's on Wrestling. I am Sam and I'm joined by Baby Sam.
Hello.
And we are doing our bracket series. The series where we take a wrestling thing, an item, a match, a concept, pay-per-view, whatever it is, and we put it into a tournament style thing and decide as unbiasedly as we can which is the best. I know what you're thinking. How do you decide between two people? It's very simple. One of us will be the judge today. That will be Baby Sam. And the other person will have the power of veto, meaning that at any point they can say veto and whatever they want to go through goes through automatically. They can only do it 5 times. They can't do it during the semi-final or the final, and they can't do it more than twice. So you can't just have the same thing go through all the way to the final. But Sam, what are we actually looking at today?
We are looking at WWE's World Heavyweight Champions. Now, what we're doing is we're not looking at each individual reign. We're saying, for example, Edge. If we look at Edge, we're looking at all of his reigns kind of combined into one.
As a world champion.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're looking at the world champion that was in 2002 to 2013. And we're looking at the new one. We're putting them all in one boat. Now, we are recording this couple of days before the old WrestleMania. So we're not quite sure if a certain Yeet Man has won the world title. We're pretty certain that a certain Yeet Man is probably going to win the world title. But even if it has this certain Yeet Man has won, he's going to have had it for about 2 weeks. So it would still it would still lose on here anyway.
Yeah.
So then we're not including that. But before we get into our bracket series, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the series. And today, Baby Sam is going to judge our World Heavyweight Champions. Triple H has got a bye. Of course he does.
Yes,
even in random draws. And why do we do a random draw, Sam?
Because if you seed them, you've already decided which is best.
Exactly. We don't seed them. It's a random draw, so we could get some big names. Jeff Hardy got a bye. Make you feel better.
Yeah,
and Dolph Ziggler got one. So, you know, whatever. We always start with the left-hand side of the draw and get our first finalist. Our first match is Billy Goldberg versus Chick Magnet Punk. Goldberg versus CM Punk, Sam. Not going to lie, not two great wrestling world title reigns.
I disagree, Sam. I think that this is simple because...
Oh, this is really simple. Goldberg's is bad.
And you could say if we were just going off CM Punk's first one, that would be a contest because Punk's first one wasn't great. However, yes, they did flip-flop the titles between Jeff and Punk in that 09 feud. But
yeah, he did 3. He's won 3.
Yeah.
He got his bad one where he didn't even defend the title when he lost it. Booted. Then his third one where he lost it to Jeff straight away. So still not great. But then his third loss, though, isn't great either because it's to like 11 minutes Hell in a Cell to the Undertaker.
Oh, yeah. But the feud was really good. And Punk had the title for more than Jeff did during that feud. So you've got to say that world title feud was great. And sometimes flip-flopping the titles between people in a feud, it can be okay.
It's actually fine. Provided it's justified because people are allowed to win it back.
Yeah, I think this works.
Yeah. Goldberg had one title reign. One title defense, after not winning it at SummerSlam. I actually, by the way, I'm in the minority. I actually don't mind him losing at SummerSlam. It's just the reason...
This is the chamber.
Yeah, the reason there's a problem with it is because it's Triple H again, and it was Triple H who was injured. So he couldn't wrestle anyway. That was actually why I problem. Imagine if Triple H was fit, you'd go, yeah, all right. But most people really hate it. Like, crown Goldberg, crown. It was like, I think Goldberg's been crowned enough. I'm in that minority. But then he won at Unforgiven, defended it Survivor Series in... actually an okay match for Goldberg, and then lost it in a random triple threat to Goldberg and to Kane and Triple H. And you're like, so yeah, this is pretty obvious. CM Punk's world title reigns will go through, not including his WWE title reign. Remember this, just the world heavyweight. Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho. It's Chris Jericho.
Justice, isn't it?
Rey Mysterio is one of the worst world champions in history.
So again, we've got to make it clear here that we're not saying Chris Jericho is easily the better wrestler than Rey Mysterio.
Nope.
We're looking at their reigns and them as world champions, just to make it clear.
Yeah, let's make it clear.
We're not just being harsh to Rey. We love Rey, but my word, he was not done justice with the world championship.
Rey has 2 world title reigns. His second one is better. And this is how better it was. He beat Jack Swagger and then was cashed in by Kane. That's it.
He just didn't continuously get emasculated in that one.
However, in his first one, if you're unfamiliar, he wins it in an emotional Eddie Guerrero tribute. He then loses to Finlay, Great Khali, Mark Henry, JBL. None of these people take the title. These are all non-title matches.
Draws to Sabu.
And I think he wins one match against Gibbles, I think, Judgment Day, and then just loses it to King Booker after Chavo Guerrero turns on him. Rey Mysterio is one of the worst world champions of all time. Sorry, Rey. But so we're going to put Chris Jericho, and we'll talk about Jericho a bit more through later. Goes limes kicking in. Those limes are kicking in. It's Shambo Tango. It's Sheamus versus Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle has one.
Yeah.
One
it's
reign.
Very interesting.
One reign we've got to talk about. He won it in the Battle Royal. He was on Raw. Batista gets injured. He comes over from Raw because they literally have no star power on SmackDown. Wins it. Has a really bad match with Mark Henry. Has a very great match with The Undertaker. Lose it in the triple threat. That's it.
Yeah, weirdly, I have this image. I can see, like when you think of Kurt Angle, the Wrestling Machine, you can just see with the World Heavyweight Championship, it feels like it was longer than it was.
But it was 3 months.
Yeah, it was 3 months.
And 2 defences.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he won it in a Battle Royal, which is also a bit... Do a tournament, lads. Do an interesting tournament. It culminates at the Royal Rumble, because you can still get it on Kurt Angle, Mark Henry. I just think a Battle Royal is really lazy. Just do a quick tournament.
I don't mind it now and then.
I don't mind it now and then, but I think for a world title...
Well, they did it twice in 2 years, didn't they?
That's literally what I was about to say, because then literally months later... the next year, Great Khali won it. You're like, no. Sheamus world title reigns. He's got the one where he turns babyface after beating Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds, and actually has a quite good reign with it.
It was a decent reign, yeah.
He was Super Cena-ing it part 2. But if a man can have a world title reign and get really great matches out of the Big Show, so much so that when the Big Show wins the world title, everyone goes, yeah, fair. I think you have to open your arms up and go, fair play. That's pretty good.
I instinctively
want to pick Kurt Angle.
Want to pick Kurt Angle because it's Kurt Angle and it's prime Kurt Angle as well.
And there is one world class match in there, Undertaker versus Kurt Angle, which I do think
the triple threat's good.
It's 9 minutes.
No, but for what the time they were giving,
could you imagine if they got 20?
Agreed.
Could you imagine if it was Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio?
No, I know.
Which is what I'd rather have.
No.
I think we have to say Sheamus here.
It's weird. I agree with you, but just every part of my being. And I like Sheamus. I love
Shambo
Sheamus
Tango.
But it's Kurt Angle. You can't have Kurt Angle out the first round. That's not
Sheamus.
It's illegal. You can't do that.
But it's Sheamus.
But we have to, don't we?
Yeah, it's Sheamus's world title reigns are better than Kurt Angle's singular world title reign. Unbelievably.
Yeah. I feel sick.
Next one, we have Drew McIntyre. 5 minutes.
Oh, is that the... Oh, yeah.
And,
so correct.
And Shawn Michaels, 1 month.
Oh, wow.
Shawn Michaels, yes? We can't... Drew McIntyre wins it, slams his dick into Punk's face.
Great 5 minutes.
Gets tripped up, has one move, loses the title. At least Shawn Michaels wins it in an incredible Elimination Chamber, the first ever of all time. Confetti, comes back, it's his second match ever, and then loses it in a... Not as good as others, but is still a very solid... 3 stages of hell match to Triple H.
Yeah.
So Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, I'd have had Kurt beat both of these.
Yes, I would, but that's the random draw.
I just still feel bad about Kurt, but yeah, okay.
I feel bad about Drew McIntyre being like, go away. Yeah. Randy Orton versus the Great Khali. Randy Orton.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Great Khali, just to knock him out. I'm in the favour that it's fine.
I am not in the favour that it's fine.
There's a controversial take of me talking about it. If you want to watch it, there's a controversial take of me thinking of the Great Khali. It makes sense for him to be world champion the way he was booked. He's 1 million foot tall and £1 million. He then wins it in a battle royal. Makes sense. He then has one match against Kane against Batista, which is fine. It's not that bad. And then loses it. Shut up. And then he loses it to Batista. There's literally nothing wrong with it. There's nothing good. There's nothing amazing. He doesn't botch it. It's not he's the worst world champion. He's the worst world champion as an entity. But in terms of reigns here, I'm sorry, there are worse reigns on here that we've already talked about. Rey Mysterio, he's better than Rey. So I'm saying this, but Randy Orton's are better. We'll get to Randy Orton. The Big Show and Damian Priest.
What a matchup.
That's difficult because Big Show's reigns aren't great, but Damian Priest has one. And he's kind of stuck in a lot of Judgment Day vortex.
Yes, but I'll tell you what, the one he had in 2012 going into 2013...
That's good.
Was actually
That's his best one.
That's
his best. In fact, that might be his only world title reign. The
rest of No, the Daniel Bryan cash-in, of course.
Oh, yes. That's his only title reign. I'm going to use the word reign here. What? Oh, they're diminishing the bloody title lineage. I actually think this is Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest had good matches with Seth, and everyone goes, he failed to kick out. He was knocked out, lads.
Yeah.
Come on. It's been a year. It's been a year. Stop mentioning it on Twitter. Damian Priest was knocked out.
If you took that bump to the head, you wouldn't kick out either.
Yeah, if you're unconscious, you don't kick out. Yeah. And he finished the match, so fair play to him.
Yeah.
Every match he had with Gunther was good.
Yeah, he had one with Jey Uso, didn't he?
And he had a good one with Jey Uso, and winning it at WrestleMania is a really good moment. I think Big Show has a really great match with Shambo, And, I like the matches he had with Mark Henry to win the brief title. But in terms of reigns, I think Damien Priest takes it over Big Show.
Yeah, I think so. I think we were all a bit surprised that Damien Priest's reign was actually decent. Because we were expecting it to be...
People forgot very quickly because they had new toys to play with, and that was a real problem. But yeah, I was surprised as well.
Yeah, so Priest for me.
Because I had mid-card guy all the way, and I went, oh no, you are upper mid-card, fair enough. We're into the last 16 on the left-hand side already. We've got Triple H versus CM Punk. Triple H.
Well, you despise Triple
I
H's
do,
title reigns.
but CM Punk doesn't have good ones in comparison to some of Triple H's good ones.
I play devil's advocate and say that Punk's shorter ones were kind of more entertaining than Triple H's long ones.
Well, the problem with Triple H is we've got the Reign of Terror going on here. We really do have the Reign of Terror. So let's go through your Triple H. So Triple H, first of all, has handed the world title.
Not a great start.
Why? He's a heel. So? That's worse than the Battle Royal I just talked about. He then screws over RVD. Why not have that as the final for the tournament? That's how Ric Flair gets involved. Then he has Katie Vick.
See what I mean?
It's not a great start. But then loses it to Shawn Michaels. Then wins it back from Shawn Michaels. Okay. And then Booker T happens. But then loses it to Goldberg after not dropping it to Goldberg.
Then we've got all the way to SummerSlam. And did anything notable happen on the way to SummerSlam?
Kevin Nash.
Okay, so you know what I mean? Let's not.
I had to remember what was going on in 2003.
So let's not act like Triple H just automatically gets through here just because it was long. Just because it was long doesn't mean it was good.
Kevin Nash was over, man.
Sure.
Hey,
Triple H wasn't.
No, we love Kevin.
I know we do.
We love Kevin Nash.
But this isn't Kevin Nash. This is Triple H.
Yeah. And then he loses it to Goldberg, wins it back from Goldberg, loses it to Benoit. Wins it from Orton for no reason whatsoever. Do you know what? Bugger it.
Come on.
Fine.
Just because it was long doesn't mean it was good.
Do you know what?
And also...
The thing with Batista was good. I'll give that reign just before Batista was good. Because he won...
That's the one.
No, but the problem actually... That's actually... No, okay. Devil's advocate myself. The whole gimmick of Survivor Series that year was they get to run Raw every month. And all they were trying to do was take the title off Triple H. Maven failed. Benoit failed. And then Randy Orton succeeded by making a Battle Royal, which then Vince took away the night. Which was... I don't understand why they did that, because he still could have done the same finish. Because they literally went... Randy Orton, at the end of the Raw before, went, you're going to defend the title against these, and everyone walks out. That's great. And then Vince went, no, you can't do that. And they went, well, then why are they running Raw then? Why are you running Raw? And they went, you can do the Battle Royal, the winner gets to face Triple H. Edge and Benoit finished in a tie. And then they had the match, and Edge and Benoit tapped out and pinned at the same time. And Triple H went, I still get the world title. And Vince went, no, it's now vacant. And Chris Jericho couldn't set the match. When he was the one, they went, oh, it'll be an Elimination Chamber. And who won that Elimination Chamber? Triple H. So screw this. Screw it. Hunter, you don't know how to book women. Mid-carders.
You have no friends.
I think you've done a decent job. I like you. But,
I do. But not here.
But bugger it, because of Jeff.
It ruined your childhood, basically.
It really did.
So why are you putting it through?
Because JBL ruined it more.
Sure. Punk through.
CM Punk goes through, fine. Chris Jericho versus Shambo Tambo. I think Jericho wins this. Though his world title reign isn't... You say 08. He's not the world champion for a lot of that.
No, I know.
He wins it because of Punk, and then to beat Shawn, and then just loses it to Cena. So literally, it's has the match with Shawn, so they're going to have a land match, and that's it.
No, I know. But then he just had a good one in 2010 for a little bit.
He has it for a month.
No, but he was still
he
a
has
good
it for a month. He wins it because Shawn Michaels hands it to him.
I know.
And then beats Edge, sort of, at WrestleMania, and then gets cashed in on. Not going to lie, they're not great. That's it.
No, I kind of like
it.
Yeah. Well, would you potentially count his undisputed because he technically won?
That's WCW World Title.
Okay.
No, he's actually because it immediately becomes the undisputed.
Sure.
It's in the WWE. It's in the WWE lineage.
I was merely just
genuinely. I don't think either of these. I think Jericho beat Sheamus.
Yeah.
Because there's more famous moments. Is what I'm going to say. The Shawn Michaels match, the Elimination Chamber win. But it is not great actually. There's going to be a weak. There's a weak semi-final at the top of this draw. Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton. I love Shawn Michaels as 1 month. I love that it wants it in the confetti. The 3-stage hell is fine. It's his third match, and he goes through a stacked ladder. He still wasn't sure if he was actually going to carry on fighting.
No, he wasn't. He didn't know if he was going to do Mania.
He didn't know he was going to do Mania and all this jazz. So it's still mental to me because he's only essentially gone, I trust Triple H. That's pretty much all he's doing at this point. He did a little bit of the chamber with people like Jericho, which is probably why you allowed Jericho later on. But he pretty much went, I don't really trust much else. Like, he was allowed Kane because he's probably worked with Kane before. So there definitely is an element of him like being like, But Randy Orton doesn't have great world title reigns either.
No.
Talk me through Randy Orton world title. I can tell you the first one, 2004. Wins it off Benoit in a real shock. There's not a single person who was at home going, Randy's winning this. Because it felt really random that he was going for the world title. Because he wasn't ready. He was not ready. And then he won. And we were like, okay. And then lost it the month later.
Yeah.
Why?
Because Triple H.
Why?
Sam. Because Triple H.
Tell me some of the world title reigns of Randy.
So literally the next World Heavyweight Championship.
Christian, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Christian one in
That's
2011.
a really good feud.
Great feud.
One of the best feud. The best feud of 2011?
Feud, yes.
Yeah.
Story Punk, but feud.
Yeah, Punk, well, I say Punk's the best story. It lasted about 2 weeks, Punk's story. But
Sam, let me have it.
But that's the best feud by a mile of 2011.
Yeah, in terms of two one-on-one people.
And he's the last world champion. He beat Cena to unify the title.
Yeah, he did. So I'd say Orton.
I'm going Orton because Shawn Michaels had one. I can't. Fair play to Shawn Michaels. I don't need to win the world title. I think he should have won one more.
Or even a WWE.
Anything. Just world title in general. I'm surprised he really didn't. But and Damian Priest, Jeff Hardy. Now, we have to be very careful here because we are both very big Jeff Hardy fans. Okay? However, he doesn't have a single good world title reign.
Sam. That is hurtful.
He has 3, one being WWE and last a month. Describe his 2 world title reigns.
Sam, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all.
Describe his 2 world title reigns.
With pleasure, Sam. So, that he beat Edge for the title at Extreme Rules.
Brilliant.
Yeah. But then in about 10 minutes, he loses it to Punk. But that's a great cash in.
It's a good cash in.
It's a great moment.
But it's a world title reign, and it's 10 minutes.
I would argue that 10 minutes is better than Triple H's 3 years.
Agreed. But
so there you go. Okay. So that's the start. That's the first part.
You've just gone. You know that person we eliminated? He's better than them.
That's the start of my point.
Right.
That's the start. Then he beats Punk at Night of Champions.
Very good.
Title again. He, whilst he's champion, he has a match where Matt Hardy, who had recently kind of turned heel on him and had that feud with, Matt Hardy is the guest enforcer, and then we all think, Matt's going to screw Jeff, but Matt, in a face turn, kind of helps Jeff and stops Punk from cheating, and Jeff retains on SmackDown, so he does get a retention in there, and then they have that great ladder match, SummerSlam as well, to end it. And then he loses it there, and obviously we know what happened to the cage match. So I think it was a good time. I think it was a good vibe. I personally am leaning towards Jeff. You're going to disagree. Yeah.
Jeff, I love Jeff. I adore Jeff. I want to hug Jeff. So, I also want to hug him and give him therapy for a lot of his career. He's champion for 3 times, and it amounts to about 2 months, and one of those is a WWE champion.
We've established that length isn't too important.
I agree. I agree.
What does that say about me?
I agree. Yeah. And it doesn't say a lot about you.
No.
You're 5'7". But
I was thinking a different thing.
Even still, Damian Priest is better. He has a cash-in moment, just like Punk's, and he has some really good matches with Seth and Gunther.
Sam, if you're going to do it, just do it, but you're going to have to use the veto. You
I
can't
am vetoing. I'm letting you know that Jeff's is not good. Like, everyone went... wasted opportunity. You can't have wasted opportunity world title reigns go through, and you know it. You just don't want to accept it. Jeff is not good. It's just the fact that it just gets Damian Priest, who is, in comparison to Jeff, of title reigns like that. It's like, it's not much better. But unbelievably, yes, because he's took on Jeff Hardy in the Big Show, Damian Priest is going through. The right-hand side is going to be stacked.
Oh, mental.
Oh my god, this is the random draw. I cannot wait for the right-hand side. It's going to be well exciting. But Damian Priest is beating Jeff. Veto, it's happening.
At least Jeff got to the second round. Well done, Jeff.
You got a bye.
Well done, Jeff.
We're into the quarterfinals. It's CM Punk and Chris Jericho. Again, tight. Problems across both of these, actually. CM Punk's got 3. One's not good. One flip-flops with Jeff, and then he kind of has a really weird reign with the Undertaker. He does a Montreal school job, doesn't he? With Teddy Long suddenly becomes becomes Vince McMahon all of a sudden.
Apparently Taker says I quit.
But also Punk had heat at this point because they were like, could you dress properly? And he went, "Why do you say the same to Cena?" And he's like, you're not Cena.
But that's also the wrong point, because
It
the
was the wrong
correct point for Punk to say, well, that's not my character, I'm living my gimmick.
But he can't do that.
Yeah, he
when
has
Punk's
to be
angry.
No, he's going as it lashes back instead of actually making the
when
correct
Punk
point.
sits down and thinks, he makes really good salient points. When he's angry or pissed off,
Got a chip on his shoulder.
He's awful. Like that scrum, as entertaining as 20 minutes was,
Oh,
because he can talk.
Yeah.
Even when he's angry, he's a very entertaining talker.
Brilliant. That's
that
why
20
it's great.
minutes, he looked like a tit.
Oh, he did, but it was brilliant. He was talking about other tits, which
Yeah,
was great.
oh, that was the thing.
Yeah.
If all the other people were actually good people, you would go, Punk looks like an idiot. They're going,
But he is correct, but he shouldn't say it whilst eating his, his donuts.
So many muffins.
Yeah, so many muffins.
So many muffins.
Probably shouldn't say it.
Just shows you how much we didn't want to talk about his world title reigns. Does that mean Jericho wins it?
We also weren't talking about Jericho's reigns, so
they're not great, but
I think this is kind of a toss-up.
I think if I had to pick who I thought had the better reigns, I think they're so even because they both have one reign that's kind of nothing. Jericho's second one is kind of nothing, and Punk's first one's kind of nothing. But they both win it in interesting ways. Punk's cashing on Edge, and Jericho's with the Elimination Chamber spot, which is one of the most famous world title wins ever because it's Shawn Michaels for his hated rival.
Oh, it's great.
Hands him the world title. It's really great. And then they have their other reign. But Jericho, do you know what? The problem is, I don't think Jericho's a great, but I don't think Punk's a great either. Because I look at Jericho and go, Jericho only had that world title just so they could have the feud with Shawn Michaels, and the second they could take it away from him, they did.
Yeah.
They didn't keep him on it. He deserved the world title because his character that year was great, but he didn't actually have the title when he was playing the character. So I'm like, I don't know where I would bounce between them. I think I'm going Jericho. What do you think?
I think if it's Jericho, it's like 51% Jericho, 49%.
It's a Brexit. It's a Brexit.
It's a Brexit.
Do you know what I'm going to say is the deciding factor here?
Go on.
Jericho won it off Punk, and Punk didn't even defend the title. He was kicked backstage, and that's so lame that I think. And the title run was a really bit bad. It was in the
lamer
mid-card.
than a Jack Swagger cash-in.
Agreed, but that's the end of the reign. And it's like a cash in. This is the end of the reign when you're not even in a match. Yeah. And let's be honest, Punk was in the mid card. He never made a better pay-per-view. He's never done anything.
Do it, someone don't like
it. It hurts.
Do it and be gone.
If it was WWE title reigns, Punk wins comfortably because Jericho doesn't have one of any note.
Yeah.
But you were going to go through. Jericho is going through to the semi-final. Randy Orton, Damian Priest, Randy Orton. There we go. We finally have the semi-final of the left-hand side. Unbelievably, it's Chris Jericho, Randy Orton. Not great reigns. I think Randy Orton quite comfortably here because of the Christian storyline. Finishing it off. I think even winning off Benoit's fine in the grand scheme of things, even if it was last 1 month. I'm sure there's more in there because there's a lot of WWE title flip-flopping with Cena.
No, that's WWE. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying.
And who could say is he did win the world title and unified them, but how much do you count that? Because
not sure.
It's unified title at that point.
I will point out that when we get to the final, we will have to talk about the fact that he loses almost all of them in really meh ways.
Oh, yeah.
Every title he lost is so
No, apart from Mark Henry. No, it was clean to a monster.
No. In one of the worst, most boring matches, then followed by one of the worst, most boring Hell in a Cell matches.
We'll get onto that later.
So, do you see what I mean?
No, but it was still not nonsense. It was a clean to a really built-up heel.
Unbelievably, because I don't know the draw. I literally press random, go. I wouldn't have thought Randy Orton would make in the final.
No Chris Jericho with the semi.
Semi-final, so let's see what's happening on the other side of the draw.
Mayhem.
Randy Orton is going through to the final. We start with Gunther versus The Undertaker.
Oh dear Lord.
The right-hand side is definitely more stacked.
I would love to see this match.
It's Undertaker. Because Gunther's world title reign, not as bad as people said it was. They're just comparing it to his IC reign, which was phenomenal. The problem they had with Gunther is they never gave him big people.
I don't get it.
Because they didn't want him to... They didn't want the people to lose. They were trying to protect him. I think they're trying to save big matches. I think that's what...
They save them so much, but then the moment goes because I think...
that's what it feels like.
I don't think... If you're going to... I really wanted Seth Gunther, for example.
Yes, I did.
I don't get why that didn't happen.
Because Seth can lose that.
Yeah, and if you do have that match down the line, if Gunther's not champion, it doesn't mean as much.
Why did we have Damian Priest again?
Yeah.
Why did we do Damian... Why not just do Finn Balor?
Yeah.
Why not do Finn Balor? Because Finn Balor was in the match, but he was a nothing factor.
Punk
would have been good. They just didn't want these people to lose to Gunther.
You can have them lose because he's your world champion.
He hasn't felt like a world champion
No.
once, and Gunther's maybe one of the best things on the show. And my brain, does your brain just do this and go, let's just do this with them? Let's just have Gunther be the SmackDown world champion and have him wrestle, and have Cody be on Netflix. And people are going to go, oh, no, let the guy wrestle. That's what he's good at. Let him wrestle.
Yeah.
So Undertakers, we'll get into. They're not amazing as world title reigns in the grand scheme of things. They're not great.
Yeah.
They're not actually amazing as you think, but Undertaker is going through to the next round. Chris Benoit, Mark Henry. Let's talk about Benoit's. Obviously won it in one of the best WrestleMania main events of all time, which is really sad. And then nothing.
Only thing I can say is, you know what I'd say, the triple threat.
He has another triple threat match where he taps Shawn Michaels out at Backlash. Then he takes on Kane at Bad Blood. Then he takes on Triple H at Vengeance, where Eugene cost him the match. And then loses it to Randy Orton randomly, just so they could stick it to Brock Lesnar, because he wanted to get rid of the youngest world title.
Yeah.
Benoit's reign actually just disappears really fast. Mark Henry starts off really badly in comparison to Benoit. Benoit has one of the best moments. Mark Henry is just, and he beats Randy Orton.
No, I thought it was great in beating Randy Orton. It's in my
How old are
fame.
you? How old are you?
Now?
No, at that point.
11.
There you go. That's the problem.
No, I still thought it was really good because what else you can do? He built him up through SummerSlam and now he goes for the world title and you could do the kind of thing of, he doesn't quite win it. No, he is the best. He beats Orton clean at Night of Champions. What else do you want?
I wanted the match to be better. It's a really boring match.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's Randy Orton versus Mark Henry.
But then he has a good Hall of Pain gimmick with the world title. He'd already had a good match with Sheamus before the world title, which is good, and they built this up. His Hell in a Cell match sucks. Even you have to admit it's one of the worst Hell in a Cell matches of all time.
If you take the Cell out, it's probably the same match and it's an okay match, but
why,
they didn't use the
Why
Cell.
didn't they use the Cell?
Yeah. Especially Mark Henry, who could probably just throw
This
Randy
is what happens
against
when you have 2 or 3 cells on the same night. You can't book the same spots, and therefore you don't book any spots. Then he has a really good feud with the Big Show.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily good with the Big Show.
Yeah. Breaks the ring. I know it's a bit cheap, but it was still good.
It was, it was the second time it happened at that point. And then Braun Strowman did it a third time with the Big Show again. Big Show stopped going to the top rope. And then that was really good. So, and then he loses it to Big Show because he was injured. He probably would have carried on if he didn't, or at least cashed in. This is tough. You've got the better moment and then the better reign, I think. Mark Henry's matches are way more boring than Benoit's. Benoit's matches are way more interesting.
You know me, Sam. But you know who I'm backing.
I know you're backing Mark Henry. I just have to work out whether Benoit's win and then really good matches. I say good matches. His match with Kane is rubbish, and his match with Triple H was rubbish at Vengeance as well. And his match with
Eugene.
And his match with, it's Eugene.
No, but it's still involved in the reign.
I can't. That's involved with Triple H. I think Benoit's just like
still part of it.
Actually, they tagged.
See, it's part of it, Sam.
He actually had a world. Oh my! No, actually, this is what sways it. Benoit once defended the title against Eugene. Yep, Mark Henry, because of Eugene, is going through. Mark Henry. Oh,
this is. You know what? I've got the answer.
Daniel Bryan versus Batista. Now, Daniel Bryan, let's just make this clear, holds the world title aloft at WrestleMania 30, but he is not a world heavyweight champion. Okay? It is gone by that point. They just haven't got rid of the belt because they need to hand it to someone more important than Daniel Bryan. He wins the world title in the cash-in, in a cash-in, and also a confusing one, because the rules for a long time at that point are, must get to your feet. But apparently the rules don't apply to Daniel Bryan, because clearly someone backstage went, well, how's he going to knock down the Big Show again? That's clearly what they said backstage. And then his reign, he has a great match at the Royal Rumble in the cage, triple threat cage. I remember him hanging on to Mark Henry. Mark Henry's holding on to him, which is great. Never seen that before, because that's how strong Mark Henry is. And then he drops, really good. And then he has a great... Actually, no. Let's rephrase that. A really boring, terrible Elimination Chamber match until the final 3 minutes.
Santino!
But we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, we should.
And then he loses it in 18 seconds.
Yeah. And he never wins it back as an individual title.
Ever. No. Batista's are better.
Oh, Batista.
Batista's are excellent.
Batista good.
I love you, Daniel. You are very similar to Jeff, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, where it's like, we love you. World Heavyweight title reigns aren't great. We'll do WWE title wins one day, and that'll be a long one because there's 50 odd champions. But in this case, Batista's are better. We will see what happens in the next round. We said the right hand side was stacked. There's Edge. There's also Jack Swagger.
Someone here who belongs in the other side of the drawer.
We may be seeing the good in Jack Swagger's world title reigns. That's how bad it is. We have to do a video on seeing the good. And because of that fact, Edge is going through. King Booker! And Kane. This is very tight.
Yes.
Let's go through them. We'll start with King Booker. First of all, won it in a very, way. Rey Mysterio is the champion.
Anyone could beat Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, but he didn't. Chavo had to hit him with a chair.
Yeah.
So it's not even in Rey Mysterio's terrible reign, Booker T couldn't do him. And then he goes on to have a feud with Batista where it's a lot of DQs, a lot of nothing. And then the match was if Batista got DQ'd, he wouldn't get a title shot ever again and still won via cheating. He hit him with a belt. And Batista was the babyface. And then that was the end of it. And that was King Booker's reign. He looked so good with the world title.
He did, didn't he?
It suited him so
with
well.
all the robe of the crown.
It was a great gimmick that they run because he was gone by the end of SummerSlam next year.
Yeah.
Literally, that's how long he lasted. I don't know what really went on there. But the reign actually isn't that good. However, Kane's reign... We've got a really good cash-in. This is before cash-ins became really dull and boring. He did it on the same night. The first one to do it. 49 minutes. 49 minutes, Sam. Just remind you it was 49 minutes. And beats Rey Mysterio.
Poor Rey.
Oh, Rey. And then beats Rey at the next pay-per-view because he thinks Rey's put Undertaker in a vegetative state. Rey Mysterio!
Rey Mysterio did that.
This is how you knew Kane was going to be a heel. And he was going to be the one to do the Undertaker because you picked Rey Mysterio. And you're like, pick someone else, lads.
Yeah.
Pick someone else. And then the Undertaker returns. And we get a trifecta of Undertaker versus Kane. And one day in our pay-per-view review series, I don't know when, it might be 4 years time, because we do whole year-length things, we will do the Undertaker and Kane saga. It might have to be split into separate years of, the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, and then, the PG era.
Saudi.
But we'll put that at the end of the PG one, because they haven't got much after that.
No.
But these 3 matches, Sam, stink up the joint.
No, I agree.
Oh my god! And I don't want to say that because I love Kane and Undertaker. I love them together, but I love them together as a joke.
Yeah.
They have a Hell in a Cell match where Paul Bearer's there. Cost him the Undertaker. Like, how many times is Undertaker going to cost Paul Bearer? Of course he's going to cost. Of course Paul Bearer is going to turn on the Undertaker. You buried him in cement. They didn't mention that though.
Of course.
And then they have a Buried Alive match, which in 2010 you're like, oh. I didn't think we were going to do this again. I didn't think this would be allowed on PG television.
Yeah.
And the Nexus
Nexus randomly come in
and because it was leading to Wade Barrett Undertaker, which did not happen because they thought Triple H would be a better match, and they were right.
Yeah, right. Yes.
These 2 reigns aren't actually great. Where are you going with?
I'm leaning towards Kane. What I will say is that Kane also had... So he lost it at TLC in a fatal 4-way.
Yes, he did.
With Edge, Del Rio, and Rey Mysterio.
He didn't take all 3 matches.
Yeah, no, he did, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So he did then go on, and he was with Paul Bearer for a cup of coffee. And then I was at the SmackDown. When I went to SmackDown as a 9-year-old, the first ever live show I went to... Yep, David Otunga and Edge in the main event, but that was when Kane was still champion. So my first event... TV event, Kane was the World Heavyweight Champion, and this is the episode where Edge just shucks Paul Bearer off a building.
Paul Bearer.
Just kills Paul Bearer again.
PG waited for ages to be throwing pizza at him, and then went, no, we need to do something non-PG.
Yeah.
Let's throw him off the roof.
This was the actual death of Paul Bearer in kayfabe because he never came back again. So that was the last I saw, the last ever appearance of Paul Bearer on WWE TV
what a claim
as a 9-year-old kid. I know. I just realised that. I would lean towards Kane.
I'm going to veto because the matches with The Undertaker were so bad that they constantly get brought up. And Booker T, King Booker, as much as the reign I think is a much of a muchness, the look, the appeal, the gimmick, the fact that he was a real focus on SmackDown, he was booked really strongly, he beat Batista multiple times, even in shenanigan ways, but that he was a heel. I think King Booker's reign is actually better because Kane's is just... And we will review it, and you'll probably sit there and go, "Yeah, it's actually quite bad, actually."
No, I know it's bad. I'm more like the fact that Kane got a reign.
They're taking on Edge in the next round. Sure. So King Booker, Christian, and Alberto Del Rio, who we hate on this channel. Christian's reign aren't great.
You say this, okay? So the 5-day one, sure.
Technically 2.
Sure, but the second
the feud is great. The reign.
So the reign from Money in the Bank to SummerSlam, he was the World Heavyweight Champion.
1 month.
He was hold on, Samuel.
1 month.
He was a very good heel.
1 month.
Samuel, I'm putting Christian through. If you want to veto for Del Rio, that's your moral decision, Samuel. But I'm putting Christian through because I didn't like Del Rio as world champion at all. So you want to veto and back your boy Del Rio, Samuel. Go for it.
He had 2 reigns as world champion. The first one beating the Big Show as a babyface, which unbelievably got over. They cheered. And then he became notable prankster Alberto Del Rio, pouring orange paint, and Big Show has to stand still. You'd move.
Yeah.
Just move, Big Show. Move. And but he had a decent match with Big Show. Really good last man standing match. And then Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
We the People. And then cashed in on Ziggler. Pretty good. He's involved in the Ziggler cash-in. It's a really good way to lose the title. So far...
But there's a reason people were thrilled about it, Sam.
Yeah, but what happened afterwards?
He
took the title. Ziggler. He took Ziggler and then took the title off in a really good double turn. I've completely forgotten how he loses the world title.
I feel as though he loses it to Cena, and that Cena goes into the Orton match.
Oh, he takes it before Orton match. Yeah. Do you know what?
You're not going to veto Del Rio, are you? You can't do that, Sam. It's against everything you stand for. And you love Christian, Sam. Think about how much you love Christian. You love the 2011 feud.
When I started this channel,
Sam,
I vowed that I would be as unbiased as I possibly could outside of the personal preferences. And Christian, as much as he had an amazing feud with Randy Orton, the reign itself is 1 month.
You're not going to do this,
He
Sam.
wins it by a low blow.
You're not going to do this. He's a great heel, Christian. He had a great match at SummerSlam with Randy.
The winner.
No, you can't do that, Sam. I'm going to veto your veto.
It's Alberto Del
Rio. Unsubscribe. The channel's finished. He's ruined everything that we stand for. What have you done, Sam?
Seth Rollins versus John Cena for the world title. Cena has terrible reigns.
Well, so does he have 2? I thought you only had 1.
I think, he has what?
Technically he does because he has the second one. No, that was what I was thinking of, but he has the second one
beats Del Rio.
Just before Orton. Yeah. Which isn't really a reign, it's just like a build to challenging for the WWE.
We need Cena versus Orton. You can't have Orton versus Del Rio for the unification of the title.
You'd have loved that.
Oh, I would have done. It was my best friend, you know. And Cena beats Jericho. I've already forgotten what that happens to that Royal title reign.
I can tell you, Sam. So this is just when I was coming in.
Yeah. This is Edge.
No, well, it becomes Edge. So you've got Cena wins the title, and then he defends against JBL at the Royal Rumble, with Shawn Michaels is working for JBL.
And loses it to Edge.
Yeah.
And then wins it. Doesn't he win it back at Mania?
Does, yeah.
Oh my God, he has 3.
He does.
Oh God, that's not good.
So he loses it at the Chamber to Edge. Great, Chamber, but not really.
It's all about Edge.
Yeah, because Cena. And then he wins it back in the Triple Threat, which is a great moment when he lifts both of them. But apart from that, it's pretty shocking. And then you have
through the light.
You have the last man standing match.
Sam's Hall of Fame moment. I'll point out going through the light. Those are not great reigns.
No, he has good moments in them. But
good moments. Seth Rollins held down this world title. I think we agree Seth Rollins is going to go through, so we'll talk about him in the next round. Seth Rollins is going through to the next round. We move into the second round of the right-hand side of the draw. It's Dolph Ziggler versus The Undertaker. It's The Undertaker as Dolph Ziggler's reigns are terrible.
You sure you don't want to veto Ziggler, Sam?
He has an 11-minute reign. Why was he given the title? Just to lose it immediately.
Shits and gigs.
if Vicky Guerrero is going to do it, don't do that. And the whole bang of the spear, he uses the spear anyway. It's all bad. And then, obviously, wins with one of the best cash-ins of all time, and then loses it to notable prick Alberto Del Rio. In kind of a sad moment. It was a good double turn, but they then never did anything with it.
Agreed.
And we haven't talked about Undertaker yet. We shall wait. Mark Henry versus Batista. Let's quickly talk about some Batista reigns. We haven't done it. Yeah. One of the best wins at WrestleMania. Match isn't good, but one of the best wins. And then has a trifecta with Triple H. It just got better and better. His next match was good. The Hell in a Cell is just moved to SmackDown, which he was not a fan of. Thought he was going to the B show. And he's like, no. John Cena here, big star over there. Yeah. That's what they're doing. They're keeping you away from Triple H because you're done. Have you not realised that yet? And then he sadly gets injured. Tears his tricep when he's on his big long reign. Who knew how long that was going to last? We were going to get Batista, Mark Henry, and then what was going to be the WrestleMania match. Because Rey Mysterio's winning the...
It could well have ended up being Batista and Rey, and it's like both of Eddie's friends wrestle.
That's what I think they might have been going for. More world title reigns, Sam. Tell me about more. He beats the Great Khali.
Oh, yeah. So, yes, he does beat Khali, and then he has it up until Mania 23. That amazing Undertaker feud. Obviously, he's got some fiddly stuff in between. It's not great.
He beats King Booker as well for the world title.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he gets to take... Edge takes stuff from, doesn't he?
I believe so,
For me, when I think the World Heavyweight Championship, I think Batista.
It's not far off who I think of when I think of the world title.
Yeah.
He just barely held the WWE title.
He did, yeah. He had one in 2010.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Oh, Batista in the bank.
Yeah.
But I think Batista was a great world champion. I really do. I actually think he did a lot of great work, and I think he actually should be given way more praise.
Yeah.
Like, everyone goes, oh yeah, Hall of Fame career. They kind of do that. They go, yeah, the Hall of Fame career. And I'm like, he held down a really rough time on SmackDown. After they'd just gone to the SmackDown split, they then went into the doldrums. He pretty did a really good job.
Yeah.
And he kept working when injured. Like, when he got out with that tricep, he was already injured for 2 months. He worked Survivor Series and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, Batista beats Mark Henry here.
Yeah.
So, Batista goes through.
I love Mark, but...
Yeah. Edge, King Booker, Edge. So far has taken on Jack Swagger and King Booker.
Typical Edge.
Typical Edge. The ultimate opportunist.
Vicky Guerrero's done this.
Sliding down. Yeah. Alberto Del Rio
Your
strongly through to the second round. Takes on Seth Rollins with a wonderful world title reign.
Absolutely.
A great first champion for the new lineage. Held it down even when clearly broken. He had some brilliant matches. He actually made it more important than the WWE Championship for a while.
Well, yeah, because Roman didn't turn up, and
which Roman was in his not turning for months phase, which I'm never going to complain about Roman Reigns.
I don't mind.
I'm happy that I get Roman Reigns, but he was the champion, and that's the problem.
That's what don't make him champion.
I'm never happy when someone is not there as champion, but I will give Roman a pass weirdly because he'd already beaten everybody. You could go, give me a worthy challenger. So weirdly, because
I get it.
So I actually didn't mind him not turning up, but it was 4 months.
You got to go back to when it was happening. Everyone was tired of just not seeing it.
Yeah, but Seth had some brilliant matches, and even when he couldn't walk, he had a great match with Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. I really think Seth did a great job as world champion. I really did.
Sure you don't want to veto Del Rio?
Nope. I'm happy that Del Rio's done really well for himself. You cannot say that I am a biased person in this.
I can say you're a bad person.
I could say that too. But Seth Rollins beats Del Rio. We're now into the quarterfinals. The Undertaker versus Batista. We haven't talked about Undertaker's reigns as of yet. Let's go through them. His first world title reign is 23. Beats Batista.
Yes.
That's his first one.
I mean, I think the side of this draw now with the quarterfinals is so strong.
It's a strong quarters.
These two are both brilliant. I love The Undertaker as World Heavyweight Champion. I love the fact he always called it...
plastic on you.
I love
it's the Undertaker! He's giving you it's a black mark! It's like a treasure island.
Threatening me not to put Batista through, which I probably am going to. I love the fact he always called it like the Holy Grail. It was always really important.
When he was the champion, it felt more important. But the problem is he wasn't champion long a lot of the time because he kept getting injured.
All cashed in on. Which was because of the injuries.
Yeah, I was going to say, so he beats Batista, has a great trifecta with Batista winning all of them, or drawing, and then he got injured. And instead of having Batista win, which would have been way too simple, they have Edge take the briefcase off Kennedy and then cash in on the same night, and then Edge got injured.
This is true.
Bit of a problem, and then that's how we got to Great Khali. And then back to Batista.
Is it?
I think so.
Is that what happened? Oh,
yeah,
okay,
no,
it was, and then Edge won it back from Batista.
Yes, he did. So that Undertaker reign's fine. Then he beat Edge
Mania
24. And then it just kind of gets a lot of Vicky and Edge and Big Show shenanigans.
Yes. So at Backlash, there's a double count out, and therefore Vicky vacates the title, which is nonsense because it's a draw. She's Vicky. And then they have a really good TLC match actually at Extreme Rules, but Undertaker loses that, so you can't count it as his reign.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I don't think he wins. Punk.
Beats Punk.
Yes, of course. And then he has. What does he do with that reign? He has a decent little match at the Rumble with Rey Mysterio.
I was about to say that's when Rey Mysterio breaks his face.
Yeah. Well, a decent little match. And
loses it to Chris Jericho in the champ.
Yeah. But then the Shawn Michaels storyline is happening as he's champion, so you can kind of count it.
I'll tell you what, this is tight because now you go through the Undertaker reign. They actually aren't that bad, actually. No. They're short. They're very, very short. Let's go through them in a bit more detail. Let's go there. So first of all, that first one, brilliant match with Batista, match of 23. We agreed when we did our WrestleMania matches. Go back and watch it. If you want to know what we thought was the best WrestleMania match of all time, we have 2 videos. Go and watch them. That's good in the end. Trifecta ends in a sad way, but it's a cash-in. Cash-ins are exciting
Yeah,
at the time
well, also
anyway.
the backlash match where Batista spears him off the
That's
stage.
what I'm saying. It's all great.
Yeah,
all
it's
great. That was
brilliant
last man
stuff.
standing. Draw again.
And
they kept
that is
drawing.
his reign, yeah,
That's what I mean.
yeah.
They kept drawing. That was the funny thing. Can someone have a good reign if they never win a match?
Well, he did beat Batista for
No, that's the only one. And then he drew every other match.
Did he not retain on SmackDown or anything?
No, the cage was they landed at the same time.
I think you can have a good reign because it's entertaining. If it's entertaining,
my point being is like, can you have an entertaining reign if you always draw?
I think you
We
can.
said I'd go Rey Mysterio for losing every match. Undertaker, that's his version of losing every match.
Yeah.
And then you've got his reign with the Edge thing. There's too much shenanigans in there. It's really bad. The Vicky Guerrero stuff by this point had run its course. I love Vicky Guerrero, but at this point it got silly.
Yeah.
You know, banning moves like tombstones.
And then she randomly brought him back at SummerSlam anyway.
Yeah, because Edge had like cheated on her. So like, I must bring back. Why would Undertaker would just go like that?
Oh no, because he would want to come back.
It's like when Undertaker worked for Vince against Shane. Why?
No, he would. No, the Shane one doesn't make sense, but that one did make sense because of course the Undertaker wants to come back and kill Edge.
Yeah, but the problem is it felt like it was for Vicky rather than Edge. And then the CM Punk one. Yeah, I still aggrieved by it because it's a really bad Hell in a Cell match. And then good match with Ray, and then the Chamber moment. Batista, they've got great trifecta, very similar to the Undertaker start with great win, and then the trifecta, lose it via injury. They're pretty much the same. We agree. We're going to put them on even, yeah? Then you got Batista's return, beats King Booker. I've already forgotten how he loses the title.
He loses King Booker.
So he beats King Booker.
He'll have lost it to Edge, I think.
Well, what King Booker's 2006? We're getting into
Oh,
wrestling.
sorry, this is 06.
This is 06, yeah. So
No, he loses it to an Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Oh, of course. We just talked about it. That reign's nothing. I can't even remember. Oh, he took on Kennedy at Royal Rumble, and it was a no DQ and a DQ finish. You beat their living crap into. That was just because they wanted to protect Kennedy.
Yeah.
So that's not great. So Undertaker's second reign, we're going with shenanigans over not a lot.
Then Batista does beat Carly.
Then Peter Carly, when we're like, yay! And then does he lose it to Edge?
I don't really know this very well.
Because you got this wrong in our Go the Distance.
Yes.
Because Batista and Undertaker have Hell in a Cell and Edge gets involved. And then Edge wins the world title, I think, via this. So, who are you going with? Batista and Undertaker. At the moment, they're a much of a muchness. Who do you go with?
My instinct has been Batista, but having talked about the Undertaker's reign sound a little bit better, but just there's something about Batista with the title.
Yeah, I agree. Better matches than the Undertaker. It's got better matches.
Every match Undertaker's has.
Yeah, if it's his reign, because I know Batista's involved in that, but he's not the champion, so it doesn't count. So Undertaker's got better matches because Batista's. If you go through all his matches, you wouldn't go anywhere. Undertaker's got that match. Every Edge match is a banger. You know, it's Rey Mysterio. I think on match quality, I would have to go with the Undertaker. But does it on the reign itself overtake it? I think I'm going Undertaker.
I think I just edge Batista. I won't begrudge you as much if you use another veto. I think this is the most vetoes someone's used.
No, I've used them all.
Oh, have you before?
Yeah.
You just never respect my opinions.
And you know what? I'm not going to respect it now.
No.
I'm going to put the Undertaker through to the next round. And it feels wrong.
It does feel
But
wrong.
it feels right. Edge and Seth Rollins. Edge, talk me through Edge's world reigns. Come on. Talk me through
He's
Edge's.
got a lot. So
Yeah. They're mainly world heavyweights.
Let me tell you a story.
Tell me a tale.
So the first one he wins is the cash in to Undertaker. That's a great moment. And then
Gets injured.
He does get injured.
Because he's in a feud with Kane.
Yeah. So then Carly goes and wins it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So that's not amazing as a reign, but a great moment of winning it. And then the next one is he beats Batista.
Yes, he does.
And then he has a good reign leading up to Mania 24. He beats Rey Mysterio at the Royal Rumble in a really good match.
That's
really
good.
nice feud to build that match. Does he do much of No Way Out? No, he doesn't because Taker wins the Chamber. But they have a really good feud leading up to Mania.
Yeah.
Great match at Mania where he loses it. So we're off to a good start.
Loses it at Mania in a really, really great match.
Probably
the match of the night at 24.
Yeah. He then wins it off Taker in the TLC match at Extreme Rules.
Great match.
Yeah, really good match. And then from there, I'm not entirely sure what he does because I wasn't watching.
There's a lot of Dolph Ziggler shenanigans.
No, there's not. I meant 2008.
I'm just talking generally.
Yeah,
There's Dolph Ziggler shenanigans. He wins it off with the Undertaker and Batista at the Hell in a Cell, and they then do all that. He keeps it off Del Rio. He's the champion. Beats in the Fatal 4-Way.
Sorry, Sam, you're coming on my brain now.
I'm just doing
trying to go in chronological order.
I'm just doing all of them.
But
just
you're
point
missing
out
the good stuff.
Can I point out though? They're a lot of short, and it's a lot of winning them as the entertaining. The reign itself, it turns out, isn't great. Now, before we get into this, because I think there's no point talking, these are better than Seth. We agree?
I agreed.
So let's go into more detail in the semi-final. Edge beats Seth Rollins. our semi-final match. Now, you actually have the say here, so you can do all the talking.
Ah.
Undertaker and Edge. I'm just going to let you know that I think it's the Undertaker because Edge has more famous reigns. But I don't think the reigns actually within themselves are that good. And I think even Edge will say that he didn't actually have amazing reigns because he's also a lot of stat padding. He's won a lot of world titles, very short, like the Dolph Ziggler one. He had the title taken off him, 11 minutes, Dolph won the title back. So there's a lot of nothing. He just kept winning the title because they were pretty much going, put it on Edge. Yeah. There was a lot of put it on Edge. So in terms of all the stuff you're saying is great, a lot of it is the win.
Yeah, okay.
Do you see what I mean? A lot of it is the win.
Which is part of it.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah. But then the reign.
Okay, so here we go. I'll try and sell you. And ultimately, I don't have to sell you.
No, you don't.
But I will also listen to your opinion. So we've talked about the first couple. He does lose it. Wait, so 2008 SummerSlam.
This also isn't a good thing. The fact you're like, huh?
No, but
also
that's only because it's 2008 and I'm not quite around.
No, but I mean, but even I'm not watching and I can tell you stuff. Like, this is messy because it's just a nonsense.
No. So he loses it to Punk, doesn't he? He loses it to Punk.
Yeah.
After he's had a match with Batista, hasn't he? And
Batista just beats him up. Yeah. Oh, he had retaining. Yeah, he cheated against Batista. And Batista beat him up because he was going to Raw because the title had already.
Batista Edge is a nice little feud. So then, but obviously,
not memorable.
I thought you were going to let me do the talking.
I was just commenting on your things you're saying.
Yeah.
So not memorable.
So then the next time he's World Heavyweight Champion is he wins it off Cena in the Great Chamber match.
Yep, that's great.
That's fantastic. And then you have the triple threat.
Cena takes it back.
And
then he takes it back again.
With the spotlight.
But that's the Big Show in Cena's moment. Edge is just a conduit there.
Ironically, didn't get the spotlight.
Yes, that's the ironic.
Cena had the spotlight.
He's literally he's the third man. No, he's the fourth man because the referee has to count the 10 because it's last man standing.
Don't count the referee, he is the Sam. Every referee has to do a 3 count.
No, but he's the most important. He's the fourth most important. Oh, well, yeah, but the thing is, though, you're not involved in the 3 count. That's my point. He is literally just
he had to stand
there.
up.
He had to get to his feet.
Yeah. So I think that was good, and also then you lead into the Jeff feud, which whilst he lost it immediately, was a good month feud, and we have said sometimes shorter little feuds do count towards being very good.
You're just reminding me about Triple H and Vladimir Kozlov.
That was WWE title. We can't count that
thank God for that. No. You're just reminding me of it. It's like, oh God.
We can't count that nonsense here.
Oh, thank God.
So, that's fine. So he obviously does the WWE title for a bit. And then the next time he gets... I don't know what time we've gone. You went back a year there.
Yeah, I know.
You really confused me. I'm really trying to paint a picture.
Edge's reigns are
No, I am trying to paint a picture, and what you're doing is you're getting my brush and just going... Do you know
why? Because that's Edge's title, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but just please. Right, so, order.
Order!
Order, Mr. Speaker. Americans have no idea.
Oh, let's just put Edge through to the next round and talk about it with Randy Orton.
But I'm trying to talk about it, Sam.
I'm bored.
Sam, let's face it. This is the final, Sam.
Are you putting Edge through?
Yeah, but Sam, this is the final. So
but are you putting Edge through?
I want to, but I'm trying to create a debate here. You're being all
Tell me about the Dolph Ziggler feud.
No, oh God. I wasn't there yet. So right. O'Donnell loses it to Jeff, and then he doesn't get it back for a while, and then he wins it in 2010. I hope I've not missed a title reign. It's entirely possible that I did.
That's the
no, because So he wins it in the TLC match. Dolph Ziggler. But then he wins it back off Dolph Ziggler, and then he loses it. No, he retires. That's it. Sam, all you have to do is let me say that.
Do you know what? The more and more you spoke, the more and more I went, God, these reigns are crap.
But I think he was always a good champion.
I agree. He's into the semi-final.
Because he's the heel that is kind of clinging onto the gold by any means necessary.
But again, we are not deciding who is the best, look of a champion. We're deciding on the reigns that was world champion. No, if we're going to do that, we might as well give it to King Booker because he looked the best as the world champion.
No, I don't mean look athletically. I mean that character-wise, week to week. So you could say on paper his feuds weren't great, but week to week he was that champion who was kind of cowardly, clutching onto the gold, running away, and screwing everyone over. He was good.
No, I just enjoyed the running away.
Because he's cowardly. You know what? No, it's my decision now. You put Del Rio through earlier. I'm putting Edge through.
Which I said earlier. I said, you're going to put Edge through. Let's move on. Yeah. And you told me to stop. So you're making it seem like I'm telling you to
Sam, ultimately, right, this is the final.
I'm going to formal protest. Undertaker's is better. Edge is going through to the final, where Edge takes on Randy Orton. Edge is the winner!
Edge wins! That's it. Undertaker would have also won. Randy did incredibly well to get here.
Randy's just sat around going, This draw, Greece in 04.
Yeah, literally.
This draw's worked out for me. It's crazy. You know, if anyone understands that reference, well done.
You're a cultured
But
person.
Edge is decided as our greatest world heavyweight champion, and what we have concluded is the World Heavyweight Championship was rubbish. That's what we're concluding.
It was good at points, but not.
In conclusion, no one won. Not even you. Thank you very much for joining us. What would you like us to do as a bracket series one day? Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Go watch our other bracket series, particularly the WrestleMania one, because there's going to be a lot of matches that are on here that we've talked about are going to be on there. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.